Hey, what's going on? Miguel, host of Life Full Circle Radio. Lot going on. Kia was just like, is this going to be the Han What show? It's a lot of Han What going on this week. So Kia keeps talking about Cam Newton and him wilding out. And so he had Lady London on the show a couple weeks ago, and they keep on dropping clips, and he keeps on sounding crazy. I really think I think he's on the Nick Cannon. He's using Nick Cannon's script right now. We'll talk about that. Why evangelicals are wilding out, period, point blank, full stop. So there's a pastor, I don't even know the guy's name, I've seen him before. He's a racist rat bastard, and so I haven't committed his name to my name. But he seems to believe that 95% of black churches don't have pastors who are qualified to be their pastor, and they need to leave black churches and go find themselves a nice white pastor to be pastored by. You think I'm joking? I'm gonna play the clip. Georgia Farmer is seen in a clip where Georgia Farmer is talking about how Trump needs to figure something out really fast. And then I'm not laughing. It's wild. And he says somebody dropped the ball in DC. I got 5 letters for you. TRUMP. That's who dropped the ball in DC. Don Lemon and Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj, now we'll talk about that. I've never been a huge fan of Nicki Minaj. But now she's sparring with Don Lemon, and it's crazy. Huh, what? All of this might be huh, what, but we still gonna have a huh, what. And we're gonna talk about what we're watching. Follow us on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, all of that, and all the such. Super producer.
Still chewing, but hi.
What's the word? How you doing?
What's up?
So I am wrapping up. The family is wrapping up. You said it's cold. Is it cold in Florida?
Yeah, bro. It snowed here. Not here, but it snowed in the Panhandle. It snowed in the Panhandle. Don't make that face.
Yeah, I'm making that face. Okay, Panhandle is over there close to Alabama. Go ahead.
It got to 32 degrees here, which is cold for Florida. And we were supposed to be in Georgia last weekend because there was an incident in the family, and we ended up not going because the family was still in the hospital. He's fine. And my mother-in-law, she was like, I love my brother, and I need to go see him. But it's 20 degrees, and I'm not sure. I was like, it's up to you.
So here's my ignorance now. Your mother-in-law was raised in what country?
Raised in Guyana.
Okay, so that's South America. So she's used to warm weather. But is it? I'm not sure if it gets cold.
And then they moved to New York, and she lived in New York from the time she was 20, and then up until she moved here to Florida 5 years ago.
So she been in the cold. So she been in the cold. She know what cold is like. I gotta turn on the extra light. So hold on. Go ahead. Keep going.
No, but for real, it's cold. It's gonna warm up again, and this is why everybody in Florida gets annoyed about Florida. Because it'll be warm. We're chilling. It's gonna be sunny all weekend. It's gonna rain for 5 minutes, and it's gonna drop back down to the 30s on Monday and Tuesday.
Well, they're talking this weekend here in Georgia. They actually are talking about a potential ice storm here. 2014, 2013 might be the winter of 2013 going into 2014. We moved here in the spring of 2014, and right before Omar said, "Leave his mama alone." So we moved here in 2014. And the winter before that, they had some major ice storms here where people were stuck on the road for 24 hours. I'm talking like leaving their cars on the road and all that stuff. So
a couple people pass away from being in their cars.
I don't know. I'm not going to wish that on nobody's family's history, but I'm sure potentially it happened. So Georgia ain't ready for that type of stuff. At least not the main part of Atlanta. Now, mind you, they probably have gotten ready since then. But we'll see. We'll see. The girls keeping us busy. We're running and ripping and running. So anyway,
Where would you like to start?
So much going on. So unless you've been under a rock, you know that in Minnesota, Minnesota has been taken over by ICE people. I don't know what you want to call them. ICE officials, Amazon police, whatever you want to call them. It's not a laughing matter to a degree because they are really hurting people. I saw a picture of a man who was being walked out of his house in snow in Minnesota, no shoes, no shirts, with a blanket over his head. It was supposed to be over his shoulders. You couldn't even take the time to let the man even put a shirt on, like to grab a coat, to grab some shoes. It's just inhumane. You got situations. Another woman I saw recently where she was, her kids were in the house. She kept screaming. They were documented. So this is becoming a regular occurrence. And
Yeah.
so we look at that. So recently there's a story, and I don't know if you have a link because I just thought about it and pull it up. Don Lemon, who has now become a bit of a roving reporter because he's not he hasn't been with CNN for over a year, I'm assuming. I guess it's been at least a year.
It's been more than that.
Yeah, I know it's been a while. So so now he's out in the streets. And so there's a church in Minnesota where the pastor supposedly is not only a pastor, but he's also an official within ICE. And so they scheduled a protest at this church where a bunch of protesters, because now there's just armies of protesters that are walking around Minnesota, and they walked into this church service, and Don Lemon was interrupting. And so they interrupted church service, and then I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, so on his digital talk show YouTube channel, Lemon stands outside with protesters while he explains that he is at an operation that is secret. Speaking to Lemon, one of the protesters, Nikki Levy Armstrong, refers to the protest as Operation Pull-Up. She says the protesters are demanding justice for Renee Good and letting them know that this will not stand. In a later clip of the protest inside the church, Lemon says, we're not a part of the activists, but we're here just reporting on them. Lemon reported the activists had gone to the church because they allege one of its officials worked at the local ICE field office. NBC News, nor anybody can verify a connection. Dylan said Sunday afternoon to X that the Justice Department was investigating the potential violation of the Federal FACE Act by these people, desecrating a house of worship and interfering with Christian worshipers, referring to the Freedom of Access to Clinic and Treatments Law. It's also known as the KKK Act. So they are trying to charge Don Lemon with the KKK Act. The reason why this was enacted was so that if anybody like in the KKK could not go into the churches when Black people were worshiping. That was like, a safe zone. You cannot come in here. Everywhere else seemed to be fine, but church was like the one place they were like, absolutely not. So that is what they are trying to charge Don Lemon with. I think it's a joke. Them trying to charge him with this, but I also think that Don Lemon needs to do better. There is no proof that seriously though, Miguel, there is no proof that an ICE agent worked or was a pastor at this church. There's no proof of that. So you guys do this protest. He's covering off of a rumor from social media. And also you storm the church, and then what's supposed to happen? You guys question him. They bring this man out.
Let's hear from this.
To interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship.
But there were folks who will say,
I have to take care of my flock.
but listen, we live there's a constitution in the First Amendment to freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest.
Yeah. We're here to worship. We're here to worship Jesus because that's the hope of these cities. That's the hope of the world is Jesus Christ.
I want to be very respectful. Please don't push me though.
We're here to worship Jesus.
Yes.
That's why we're here.
Yes.
Okay. That's why we're here. Okay. That's what we're about.
Don't you think Jesus would be understanding
we're about
and love these folks?
We're about spreading the love of Jesus.
But did you try to talk to them as a Christian?
No one is willing to talk.
Okay.
I have to take care of my church and my family, so I asked if you actually would also leave this building.
You don't want us to
chronicle what happened? Unless you're here to worship.
I'm always worship. I'm a Christian.
We're here to worship. Yeah. We're here to worship.
This is a batch of bullshit. What Don Lemon's doing. I'm sorry. This is bullshit.
Say again. Go ahead.
Bullshit. What Don is doing is bullshit.
You said that. Let me respond real quick. So, this is out of context. It doesn't tell anybody who's just seeing this for the first time. You would think he just walked into church randomly. There's a whole protest that's going on off screen. I don't have time to pull that up right now. You can pull it up yourself. So I first thing I did was, okay, who is this guy that they're talking about? It's not him. It's not him that they say who works for ICE, who's also a pastor. Here's what we also understand is that there's several pastors can be on a staff. So it could be anybody that's on that staff that they say that is a pastor at this church and also is a member of ICE. So the thing is that I understand what this gentleman is doing, but I also understand that he knows there's a camera in his face. And when it comes up to the fact that whether or not there's someone who's a member of ICE who works there, the challenge is, why are Christians, why are churches supporting this? Right? That's the challenge that I have, is that why are churches supporting walking up in not just churches, but hospitals, but schools, but lines when you're dropping kids off and you're snatching up people that are not presenting any sort of harm or threat to the American people. Legit, the woman in Minnesota got shot in the face, shot in the neck, shot in the chest. They didn't administer any aid to her, and they said she was still breathing 8 and 10 minutes later. And there's video of them not letting a doctor who was there going to try to see about her and try to potentially save her life. So I get what you're saying about when it's all said and done, Don is not in there protesting. He's not in there rabble rousing. He's sitting there with a mic as a journalist asking questions.
But he's acting like a dick.
Why? How's that?
You thought how he acted in that video was how a normal journalist would act and how anybody would behave in that scenario. Like, are you really saying that?
Yeah, he's a reporter asking questions. He's a reporter asking questions.
No, come on, Miguel.
What? No, I don't understand the pushback. What did he do that was so?
If you think that's appropriate journalist behavior to act like he's acting, then there's nothing else for us to discuss in this scenario.
So tell me what is wrong with what he's doing right now. He's got a mic in front of the guy's face. He's asking questions.
He's asking questions that he's looking for a specific answer to while they're in church service. The man is trying to be respectful and be like, yo, we're just literally doing church service in here. Are we expecting this pastor right now to have a full conversation and say, no, we don't have somebody working for ICE, or we do, or we don't? Like, what is not expecting to do in that scenario? Especially if he doesn't know.
He knows. Come on now. Stop.
No,
if that man,
we don't even know if somebody is there who works for ICE. We don't even know if the person's there who works for ICE. And if the person does work for ICE, they said some official in the office. That's a variety of jobs in the ICE office.
I've heard very, but he would know, or he could say, I'm unaware of anybody here who, if he'd answered that question, Don could have moved on. His focus was making it look as if trying to make it as if the whole thing about the church service is interrupted. It's done, right? It's not going to continue. I understand what he said. I got to get to my family. Cool. I get it. But it's not like he could have easily in this place, if he did not want to talk to Don, he could have just walked away.
But he was trying to walk away. He was trying to be respectful.
He's not holding him. He's not holding that man.
He is literally trying to say, hey, I'm trying to be cool. I don't want no problems. I don't want no issues. I'm trying to give you a general answer.
The problem is there. All he had to do at this moment is said, "Sir, I'm not talking to you. No comment," and walk away. He engaged Don at that moment. So, but I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with Don being a journalist in that scenario. Doing it in the church. Would I have done that? Because obviously he's not the only one. There's somebody else there with a mic flag. There's somebody else there that's also doing the same thing.
But also, Don's not being a journalist here. He's being a YouTuber. He's being a Myron Gaines. No, he is. He's being a YouTuber.
Don Lemon is being an independent journalist. Right now, people like Don Lemon can no longer be hired by anybody. They're firing all of them. They're firing Don. They fired Joy Reid. Anybody that is, because obviously that's a different conversation, that all of these major networks are now owned by Trumpsters. So they're not going to hire them. Don Lemon is a 30-year journalist. So I wouldn't just call him a YouTuber. Like, come on now. Let's give Don more respect.
I'm not saying that's all he is. What I'm saying that about in this scenario, he is acting like a YouTuber. They heard one random rumor. He pulls it to it. There's the equivalent to him. You don't know who Andy Nguyen is, do you? The one who's always covering the Antifa protest. The one they threw that milkshake with cement in it at him. Okay.
No, I don't have any idea about that.
He also does this as well. He claims that he's a journalist and he does not have the experience Don has at all. But he claims the same thing. He goes to these Antifa situations. He throws himself in the mix. He asks these questions and getting in people's faces and won't take no for an answer and won't just back off. And, oh, you're touching me. And Don did the whole, you're touching me. Don't touch me, though. Get the F out. Like, get out. Now,
I got you. So let's stay on the evangelical tip. Go ahead.
My whole rant. Yeah. I do not think he needs to be charged with the KKK Act. There's some lines to this. Like,
for them to try to charge anybody with anything after January 6th is laughable, right? It's like, give me a break. Like, but let's move on. But we're going to stay in the evangelical world because this pastor here.
Really quick, cover the Nicki Minaj side, or we're not? Are we gonna do that later?
We're gonna come back to that. We're gonna come back to that. Yeah, we're gonna come back to that. I want to come back to that. I want to stay on this piece. So. This is listen to the video.
I can't think of his name.
It's not. Let me refresh. Why is it jammed up now?
What is his name?
Not sure why I'm not getting. Why I'm not getting audio? No. Why am I not getting audio here? Of course, it's being weird. So I definitely want you to hear this guy because he is basically. Hold on. Of course. All right. So we'll see. We'll get that audio up. So in essence, this gentleman is talking about the relationship.
Trump administration has a cult following. About 90 to 95% of the black church in America is objectively, by the standards of Scripture, heretical. It doesn't even constitute a true church. They're teaching things that are absolutely in direct opposition to the Christian faith. If you listen to the message and you believe what they're saying, you will go to hell. I love black people. I want them to know Christ.
Liar.
And currently, there are not enough black men in America, Christian men, who know enough theology to be able to be qualified to pastor black churches. The black church in America needs to be split up. It needs to go and find a good, God-fearing white church with biblically qualified men so that they can hear the real gospel of Jesus Christ and come to saving faith in him.
Let me talk to him.
So this is where we are, right? We're at this point where you have, and this is, and like I said, I don't remember the guy's name. I've seen him post other highly racist talking points where he's got a buddy that he sits up here and does his podcast with. And you're going to sit up here and tell us that 95% of black churches don't have a pastor up at the pulpit who is qualified to pastor them. Man, if you don't shut up. And the thing about it is that this is where we are. Our vice president believes in this type of theology. And this type of white Christian nationalism is insane. And so when you go back to, there's really people who really believe that we need to go back 200 years, at least 100 years to where it was in the late 1800s or early 1900s. These folks are really pushing this type of narrative. And so, but when I look at him and then I look at the guy that Don Lemon was talking to, I'm at a point right now where I have real trust issues with white evangelicals. I just do. Period.
I think everybody does. The reason why I look like I'm not paying attention to you is because I'm really trying to find this guy's name, because he does have a podcast, and there's a whole group of these. And again, I don't even call them pastors. There's a group of these right-wing influencers who stay on YouTube with their podcasts and their TikToks, and this is what they do. They make it seem like, anything a black person does is inferior, beneath them, not good enough, they're not smart. It's just all the time.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's really interesting to me, like you said, that every now and again when I get into a couple of back and forth with somebody on YouTube and they hit you with the tinfoil hat on your head, dummy, blah 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 blah. And I said, clown, you have no idea who you're interacting with right now. But I'm gonna let you have it.
It's just kind of it's just
when they call Jasmine Guy, oh, she's an idiot, or Michelle Obama, she's not smart.
Oh yeah, no black woman is going to be smart. They can kind of understand the black man. He just needs to let us help him build up. The black woman, she's a lost cause. But the really sad part about this is that these people are growing followings, and they're growing followings based on what they are feeding out the Bible to people. The quiverful movement. The right-wing people use a quiverful movement.
What did you call it? The quiver what?
Quiverful. So what the quiverful movement is, it is all white people. It is all white people.
Go ahead.
Okay. It is all white people who have as many children as possible because the word of God tells you to, but they're all white children. And they're all brought up in this religion. The girls are not allowed to get educated. Their main goal is to get to a certain age, get married, and then they have a whole brood of children, and it just repopulates the white race. That's what they believe in the quiverful movement.
Well, and it's out there. these type of people believe that America is being taken over by minorities and people of color and brown people. That we are at that tipping point right now. And so they're hiding it behind, huh?
Pastor Joel Webbin is what his name is. Pastor Joel Webbin.
Okay.
Okay,
sorry. So the thing about it is they're couching this in Christianity, right? Because I'm certain that this guy probably believes the same thing, right? You know, you have people who believe right now, they're preaching this from their pulpits that women should no longer be allowed to vote. And even with Vice President Vance, him and the movement he's associated with, if you have more children, you get more votes. If you're white, right?
Well, his Indian wife is pregnant with their 4th child. So how does that work?
Yeah, you know, and so it's you know, so when you see these type of people, and you sit back and say, we are in most certainly an intellectual battle right now. We're in a spiritual battle right now. And for many years, you know, I would have different type of CCM. And for people who don't know, CCM stands for contemporary Christian music, which in gospel Christian music, gospel music is largely associated with black folk. CCM music is largely associated with white churches. Right? And then you got songs, you got people who do both tinker in both sides. Most of the white musicians don't tinker back and forth. They stay on the CCM side. Why are you laughing?
Can I make you laugh? I told my mom this joke earlier because church is mostly contemporary music. I told my mom, I was like, listen, with my choir, with my praise and worship team, I need the director to be gay, to be a gay man. I need the drummer to have multiple baby mamas who are in the crowd. That's what I need in my praise and worship team to help me really praise God. She was like, shut up. But I like the old school praise and worship. I am not a contemporary praise and worship.
But you know, here's the thing. It's not to me the words, is not to me the rhythm of it, which I prefer some drums and I prefer a little bit more. Yeah. But here's the thing. I grew up AME, so it wasn't heavily drums. It was very much hymnal, verse after verse after verse. It wasn't I didn't get into Pentecostal style music until I was well out an adult. But it's not about the music. It is about the people who are singing it and the fact that they're singing it in front of people like this guy. And this guy is sitting there as a pastor, and this is the type of music and worship that he wants us all. As he said, black churches need to break up and go find a white church to fall up under. And so there's a lot of churches, for people who don't know, some of your favorite churches, some of your favorite pastors out there, you check their lineage, the people that they call their spiritual daddies.
And Pastor Webbin has also, he was on another podcast recently with some other Christian gentlemen who, respect to them trying to have the conversation with them, because Pastor Webbin and like 2 other guys are just like, you know, we need to keep the church pure. We need to keep our lineage pure. That's really important. Those other guys are just like, are you all seriously telling us that if you had grandchildren as Christian men and they happen to be mixed another race, you would reject them and not love them? And they couldn't really answer the question. They're like, if that is your mindset, then why?
They're not going to answer the question on camera. That won't be recorded. Yeah.
Well, they've been pretty racist outright on recording. So
they're pretty racist any other time, right? Yeah. So, you know, I guess they're afraid their daughter might find that black man who wows them. And next thing you know, they got to make that decision.
All these daughters are going to find black men, Hispanic men, move to another country, or never speak to their fathers again. That's really what I think it is. Let's forget about them dating other men. Let's talk about them just not speaking to their fathers ever again because of this type of behavior.
Yeah, so this is kind of where we are, and it's getting dicier and dicier because everybody has a microphone, everybody's recording and putting this stuff out here, and it just takes the right hashtag for people to find you. And you know, this now when I posted this, somebody I was with early, and as soon as they saw the name Larry, I was with my barber, and he said, "Ooh, Larry Reed, yeah." I said, "I don't know anything about that guy." I was like, "Is he pretty spicy?" Yeah, he's pretty spicy. I don't know about this guy.
Spicy with a lot of sugar on top.
Okay. All right. So we're going to move on. So, you know, the white evangelicals, you better keep an eye on it as we just went through 2 of those stories. All right. let's circle back. Let's come back. You want to talk about Don Lemon, so let's talk about Don Lemon and Nicki Minaj. So I don't know if you have it. I can pull it up if you can have it on your screen. But
listen, this is that I never thought would happen in a million years.
Like, you never thought this would happen?
Them beefing Don Lemon and Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj is she's an attention. I'm not going to use the word. She's an attention seeker. And so here's my thing with Nicki Minaj. I always felt like she lived off of conflict. She loves to get engaged and get into a lot of conflict. And so now her latest drift is that she wants to hang out on the other side because that's where the money is. And so
she's
now
super Christian. She's super Christian. She's super Christian. MAGA super Christian or white national Christian nationalism. What are we calling it?
I'm on the final day of my fast. I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna use my it's not real. It's if you can't find the humanity in all people, if you don't think that it's wrong for a woman to get shot in the face because she's a protester, and oh, by the way, she has a wife, which is a lot of people are not talking about that, right? When she was a mother with 3 kids, then all of a sudden they had to make sure,
It was a wholesome tragedy.
Yeah. Once they realized she was married to a woman, and all of a sudden the story shifted, and all the humanity out of the situation just went right away. And so you can't position yourself that way and still call yourself a Christian. It don't work for me.
So before you play Don's response, let me know if you need the link to the response because I have it. But I'll read what actually happened. Here, I'm going to post it in the chat so you can pull it up. So what happened was, after the incident at the church that Don Lemon went to, Nicki Minaj took to X to say this. Don sees sucking lemon is disgusting. How dare you? I want that thug in jail. He would never do that to any other religion. Lock him up. She also included a photo of Chucky in her purse because Chucky is her alter ego now. So she's Chucky. I don't care. I don't know. Whatever. Despite the backlash, super bass rapper doubled down, writing on X Monday, LOL. And I purposely wrote that in that way because I knew that would be the only way to get the cocks.
So for people who don't know, Don Lemon is a gay man. He's married to a man. Yes. And so she made these homophobic slurs. And so let's see. Let me see.
Of the fray. She used a homophobic slur towards me in a social media post, several. Time and time again, this vile woman shows her true colors. She shows what really animates her. And that is cruelty, it's viciousness, it's insecurity, it's ignorance, lack of intelligence. She's a very low vibrational person. It's always about negativity with her. So someone that I love and I think who's really talented, one of the most talented people out there is the ultimate diva who doesn't have to put people down, Miss Mariah Carey.
Can you say 3 nice things about Nicki Minaj?
Can you?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
You want me to?
Well, it's your question. I mean, like...
Well, I know, but I'm asking it to you. Do you want to plead the 5th on that one?
I always felt it was more important with that situation to not plead the 5th, but to just stay above the fray, because you don't want to be déclassé. You just want to just move it along.
Okay.
And then I love it when she does it, and she's like...
So he continues talking about that for a little while. And so Nicki Minaj...
By the way, Mariah Carey hates her. Mariah Carey hates Nicki Minaj. Like, they hate each other.
Okay. And I don't know the history behind that, but I'm not fond of her either. So, and I'm not. So it is what it is. I look at this stuff and I say to myself, in this era of social media, and this is the way that people get famous, the way people make money, it's like you got to push the envelope. I've never liked Nicki Minaj. I appreciated her talent. I think she has an endearing personality until she starts talking too much. She's completely manufactured. Everything about her, the boobs, the tight waist, the butt, all of that is all manufactured. Yeah. And so then the part of the story, which you can elaborate on, is that, her brother and her husband both have some issues with some
Yes, they're both registered sex offenders. They're both, her husband's a registered sex offender accused of raping a young woman. And then her brother is convicted, not accused, convicted of molestation and is doing, I want to say 40 years, maybe be 50 years. It's a lot of years. But one thing that Don Lemon said that is extremely true, and I agree with, is that Nicki Minaj thrives off negativity.
Absolutely.
Whenever another young raptress is doing well, here she comes to poop on them, to say that they're stealing her style, that she's the originator. She's done it to people who even came before her. Her and Lil' Kim don't speak because she was disrespectful to Lil' Kim. Her and Remy Ma
her
don't
saying
speak.
She's the originator is disrespectful to Lil' Kim. I mean, it's,
well,
so that's part of it. Go ahead.
I'm saying that Nicki Minaj is disrespectful to the originators, like your Lil' Kims, your Remy Ma's, your Foxy Brown. Yeah. She was disrespectful to Mariah Carey. Say what you want about Mariah, but Mariah is Mariah. There's no reason to beef with this woman. She never beefs with anybody. She don't do nothing.
Right.
And then we all know she's had a very, very long-standing beef with Cardi B since Cardi came out. And then she's fighting with Roc Nation. I have not heard this woman come out and say, yo, you know what? I'm really, really proud of this young rapper. I'm really proud of this girl. I'm so excited to see what she does. They're always hating on me. They're always hating on me. And I personally think that Nicki Minaj might be suffering kind of like Kanye West is suffering mentally, like with some bipolar disorder, because just the behavior, the irrationality of the behavior is concerning.
Well, the thing about it is, this is how these people built their careers, right? I give Kanye a little bit more credit because he's such a production genius, without question. I just think that Nicki Minaj has been a personality that was manufactured by the industry. And I guess she's never been popular to me, but I know she's had a great run. When Cardi B came and hit the scene, Cardi B kind of took her spot, seemingly to me. That's what I look at. That's what I study, right?
No, you're right. So you think Nicki Minaj is an industry plant?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think she has some talent, no doubt. She has a talent to deliver the message. I don't study her enough to know if she writes her own lyrics. I don't know. But I think everything about her was constructed. And then when the industry and when the market, I saw her in a movie. I don't know what movie it was. It was a movie that she was in, and it was a rom-com, and she was in it, and she played
the other one. It's called The Other Woman.
Okay. And so I thought she was funny enough in that. I thought that would be the logical next step for her, because she, that's her personality. Her personality is that of a performer anyway. But then she started getting back and stepping back. And next thing I know, I'm hearing about all these attacks, and she's beefing with this person and beefing with, I'm like, you were really at a place that you didn't have to come back down and really get into these type of these conversations. You could have stayed above the fray almost. Are you a Mariah Carey? Of course not. But from the standpoint of an industry, you were well planted in music. And then all of a sudden, the millennials say, no, I got to go back to social media, because that's where, I don't know how it affects her pockets. Maybe it helps her pockets tremendously to stay in this nonsense. And that's what's keeping her. I don't know if she's getting shows still. I don't know if she's getting movie roles. I don't know. I don't pay enough attention to her, but I know right now it looks terrible. For her to come out here talking about this man the way she did.
She's actually not. She hasn't had an acting role since The Other Woman, but I agree with you. That's what I thought the trajectory was. I was like, oh, she's cute in this. She could be the quirky girlfriend in the TV show or the movie or whatever. Absolutely. I can watch her. She's funny.
Absolutely.
It works. But I feel like once she made the decision to get with her current husband, that's when I feel like everything took a weird trajectory that everybody was like, ooh, we can't really rock with you, because everybody knew that he had charges. So if you're somebody as famous as Nicki Minaj and you get with a man who has charges, how is the industry supposed to react to that if you're trying to branch out into movies and TV shows?
They don't. They put you in the box, a box that you probably had escaped. You were away from the box, but you decided you wanted to come back down. And I'm glad I can't remember the child's name with the one from St. Louis who sound crazy all the time. But not Ice Spice. She's from New York. I'm talking about the one. what is her name? Anyway, she's from St. Louis. She's the one who put the money up to her ear with you know who I'm talking about. I just don't the lyric that.
Oh, wait, I got it. Sexy Red. You had to say put the music. The money up to the ear.
Thank you. So she has put herself in a position where she's not far removed from that, you know. And here's the thing, for her to and correct me, and you know better than I do. Her internet crew are the Barbs, right? That's what they call themselves, the Barbs.
The Barbs.
I'm assuming that there's proximity to the Barbs in the LGBTQIA community, right?
Yeah, and they overlap a lot. Well, they used to up until recently.
Correct. Right. So, you know, from a marketing standpoint, to me, it doesn't make sense how she has alienated. I think you missed some X's and some D's, Andre. But I appreciate you, bro. You know, and so
he spelled it correctly.
He spelled it correctly. That's that military right there. You know, his autocorrect is fixed on his computer and his phone. So anyway, man, it's wild to me. So I don't know what. And here's the thing, and from a marketing and revenue and where do I go next standpoint, she made her decision.
I've never seen someone alienate everybody. Like that's it's SEXXXYREDD. That's how you spell Sexy Red. It's 3 X's and 2 D's.
All right, M-I, crooked letter I, crooked letter I, humpback I. Yes, he the spelling bee champ 1988.
I've never seen an artist alienate everybody. She alienated everybody. White liberal women, all the black women, all of black men, some black conservative men, not all of them. The entire gay community and trans community have all been like, we're good on you.
So and who's left?
Not being accepted. But she's not, I don't even think she's being fully accepted by the group she wants to be accepted
Of course she ain't gonna be fully accepted by MAGA because they hate black people and they hate people of color and they hate people who are undocumented, which they also say that she is.
Yeah, no, she's not. She's undocumented. Well, I mean, that's the wrong thing to say. She's documented because she's an entertainer, so she has to be documented, but she is not a U.S. citizen. She is not a U.S. citizen. She has a work visa and has all that kind of paperwork, but she is not a U.S. citizen. But she's not undocumented.
So in part, is she doing this just so they don't snatch her up and run her up out of here too? And I don't know. Nobody knows why she's doing it. All the way going back to sitting down with Erica Kirk, I think is her name is, and making the mistake of talking about assassins or something and
I have never seen somebody mourn as quick as Erica Kirk. The way this girl mourned needs to be studied by NASA. She mourned for what? A week? Maybe 2 weeks? Next thing we know, she's on stage with pyrotechnics in a sparkly suit like an evil Tammy Faye Baker, all of a sudden presenting all this turning point stuff. Like,
running her fingers through the hair of J.D. Vance. Or was it Donald Trump? I don't know. Before we get out of here, I missed one of my white evangelical stories that I wanted to talk about. I'm missing this story. Okay. So for people who don't know what's going on here, this is someone that is New Birth Cathedral. That is the church that Jamal Bryant is the pastor, Kia's favorite pastor. So this gentleman is in the, you know what?
The vestibule. Is that the vestibule?
If
or
the lobby? We'll go with that.
Materialism, your racism, and all of your high-mindedness is going to end when Jesus returns. Jesus Christ is coming back in flaming fire. He's taking vengeance upon those who know not God and obey not the gospel. Oh, you need to repent. Your pedophile co-founder is in hell right now, and you're going to find your way into hell with him unless you repent. Shame on this wicked. You know, you take the name of God and...
So this went on for entirely too long.
Oh, yeah.
There are some churches, there's some pastors that I know personally that gentleman would have been in the cross-faced chicken wing so fast with the security at some of these churches. Jamal, No, you gotta get better security. Cause this rascal, cause if you okay, I'm assuming you've never been to this place.
No, I've never been to Newburgh.
You have not.
Mm-mm.
Okay. The parking lot is huge. As you can see him walking out of this parking lot. Somehow this man drove on here with a buddy because somebody's filming this crap, you know, and as he's sitting up here talking about
They sell goods.
This to me is extremely dangerous and scary.
Jesus Christ.
What'd you say?
You're right, but also this is extremely dangerous and scary because the way he's acting, he could have easily pulled a gun and
Absolutely. So the first time I saw this video, I saw that old lady walking by him. I saw these other women walking by him. I'm like, where are the ushers? Where are the security? Right? And so as you see the end of it that we just played, it was somebody talked to them, said, next time you come on the property, you will be arrested. So I'm assuming, you know, I don't know who it was. But to your point, the video of this, it goes for way too long.
Yeah.
There's so much damage, so much. And the other issue I have with this thing is this is very successful ministry who's done a lot of things in that community. And the whole thing about Eddie Long and his history, and the whole thing about, you know, what he's talking about Jamal Bryant. That's not your business, sir. That's not your business. God did not send you here to be disruptive on a Sunday in these folks' church. Now, flip the script. If I were to walk up into the gentleman's church who was on the show earlier, I talked about earlier, talking about black church, black pastors not blah, 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 blah. Imagine if I'd have tried to walk into his vestibule and stand around and telling these white evangelicals about how terrible they are, and tell me if they wouldn't have pulled me into a back room, you might never see me ever again.
Yeah, you'd be gone to glory. And my mom goes to a non-denominational church. Her pastor is white, but they would never. They're not, because the pastor has security now, and it's just one dude. But the other men in the church, they would never allow it. If somebody got up and was doing what that guy did in the vestibule area, it would have been literally furniture moving, and he would be on his way out.
And I'm not gonna call any pastors' names out who I know, but they might be packing themselves as every Sunday service. And in addition to that, I know their security, and I know, yes, this is something that, like I said, and I've seen it. I've seen it in one of these churches that I'm talking about, where they slip people out of there who try to act a fool so fast. People didn't even realize it happened.
Yeah.
they didn't realize it. What just happened? And crossface chicken wing, take them out the side door, and yeah, bye-bye.
They had it at my dad's church. My dad goes to a Baptist church, and my dad like sits on the trustee board and all the time and all that kind of stuff. But I remember there was a time that someone started to act up in the church. I might have leaned over to my dad to say something to him. My dad didn't even look at me, and I turned back around. That person was gone. I was like, ooh.
That's unacceptable. All right, let me hit you with the what. There's a couple before we get up out of here. I don't know if you're following this story either. Dr. Kevin James, who is got fired last week as the president of Morris Brown College, and then got reinstated this week at Morris Brown College because they fired him without reviewing his contract, and they violated his contract the way. So for people, look that story up. Dr. Kevin James, Morris Brown College, Atlanta, Georgia, the school that didn't have his accreditation. And in 7 years ago, he brought it back to life. And then all of a sudden, the board decided they wanted to fire him. And so now that drama's going on.
The story, ladies and gentlemen, so I'll just be watching.
Yeah, it's out there. Just look up Dr. Kevin James and what's going on with Morris Brown. It's kind of crazy. All right, so this is the story you want to talk about. Boom.
Yes, the story we're going to talk about right now is that Cam Newton had on a rapper named Lady London, who actually I think has her master's degree. She's just a really good rapper, but she's very, very educated.
I want to say she's a Howard University grad.
Howard University undergrad, USC masters. I think that's what her.
And she's a phenomenal rapper. I love her. She's an amazing rapper.
She's amazing. And she sat down with Dodo Bird top hat here, Cam Newton, and this is what happened. Go ahead and play it.
Oh no.
A new word. We got to hit up Webster.
No, we ain't got to hit up nobody.
Oxford.
Why would we do that?
Let me restart it. Let me see. Come on.
Is volume on?
Say it again.
Eclectic.
It's eclectic.
Well, the heavy on the N because
There's no N in it.
No. It's my word.
Oh, let's unpack this. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
It's your word.
Eclectic.
Spell it for me.
NCLECTA.
Okay.
Eclectic.
Eclectic.
Do you want to know what the N stand for?
Niggatry. Am I right? Okay. Respectfully.
You see where I was going.
Let that
Yeah.
be. Okay. Great.
So I'm gonna let you go because I'm looking up something related to this, but I know you got your points about Brother Cam.
Here's what it looks like this.
Huh?
It's because Cam Newton, here's why my face looks like that when I'm making the face, because this is secondhand embarrassment because he's looking at a girl like a woman like Lady London, and she's looks like your everyday rap girl who's happy to be there, sexy, pretty. He thinks this whole I'm just Cam Newton was going to work on her. And she was just gonna be in awe of him being funny and quirky, and I'm Cam Newton. And it doesn't work on women who are educated. She just happens to be very educated and be the aesthetic that, for lack of better words, turns him on. That's why she's looking at him like, you did great. You made up a word. Congratulations. A word that I corrected you on, then you made up some stuff about, and then couldn't even, he said eclectic and then spelled it inclecta. Take away the podcast.
And for people who don't know, Lady London, she is the niece of Chino XL. Chino XL was a rapper from the 90s, well respected. If you saw, he used to always keep two braids, I think, on his head. I think he's a West Coast rapper, but well respected dude back in the day. He passed away recently within the last year or two. That's how I ended up connecting the dots. But I saw her on a couple of freestyles, and I was very impressed. But she's obviously very bright. And I just really believe, because right now Cam Newton has got several. He's got this talk show going on. He's got his sports show going on, the 4th and 1, where he talks football, or I don't know if he calls other sports. And he's got the ESPN gig going on, and which has got him moving around pretty good. These last few interviews, Lady London, and then there was whoever the baddies girl that he interviewed a couple of weeks ago. Natalie Nunn.
And then he had a conversation with TD Jakes that didn't really go that great either.
Oh, I haven't seen any clips from that. So that should be an interesting conversation that he had with TD Jakes.
Smart. And again, like I said, he can use this I'm
pretty big on words. It's kind of how I make my money, but I don't know. How would you describe your style in one word? That's an adjective.
No.
It's replaying again.
Can I use a word that I've already used?
Sure, of course.
Eclectic.
Eclectic.
Okay, that's interesting how you heard it and I didn't hear it. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Is it off now?
It's off now. He's just not smart. And he says things, and he's gone on, there's been multiple podcasts of his that have gone viral, not because he's asking educated questions or really they're having like a good dialogue. It's because he's saying something stupid. Like every single time, it's because he's saying something stupid.
He's
like
going viral, bro. It's all about going viral.
You know, my favorite thing he's ever said was that he was taking it slow in all of his relationships. That's why he was never married, even though he has gotten all these women pregnant.
How many kids is he up to now? I
think he has 9.
Yeah.
I have to look it up. It's either 8 or 9, but 2 of them are adopted that he adopted.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm good with the adoption piece.
All right. Okay. So our last and our favorite part of the show. Yeah, 9 children with 3 women, including 4 with ex-Kia Proctor, chosen comedian,
Cam, another spelling bee champ.
Sovereign Dior. one with Lorena Shaw Caesar, and 2 with current girlfriend Dana Brown. Plus, he helped raise Proctor's daughter Shakira and Shaw's son Jaden, so he counts those as part of his children. Anyway, so now it's time for our favorite part of the show. What are you watching? Hands down, you and Tracy have to watch Ponies on the Peacock Network. It is a great, fantastic show, Ponies.
What is it about?
It is about 2 women who are married to, they don't know they're married to CIA agents, but they're married to CIA agents, and their husbands are, and it's based in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s.
Okay.
They're overseas stationed, whatever, their husbands are killed, and now they take it upon themselves to figure out, well, what happened to our husbands? Y'all are lying to us, and we want to know what happened to our husbands. So it's like that whole kind of a buddy cop comedy, espionage, 70s
You had me
babe.
for a second, and you're starting to lose me. You know you got some ground to make up. That last series you had us waste a weekend watching.
Which one?
The one you said your mama loved. I should have known off the bat when you said your mama loved it. That I wasn't the demographic.
That my mama loved.
I love you, Mama Blanche.
Not her fault.
Not her fault. All her fault, not her fault. It was a Lifetime series is what it was.
Did you watch His and Hers?
So I haven't watched His and Hers. Trey and Michelle have watched His and Hers because of your recommendation. But then once I realized that they were 3 episodes in, I said, okay, I guess I'll be watching it by myself if I watch it. I've kind of heard different people who said that, they said the episodes are relatively short and that, you can.
It's microwave TV.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see. What else you got going on? What else you watch?
All the great shows are back. So we're watching, I'm watching Will Trent. I'm also watching The Doc on Fox. And of course, I'm watching The Pit on HBO. If you are not watching The Pit, there's something mentally wrong with you. You need to be watching The Pit. It's graphic.
Hold on. Is this, how many seasons does it have?
This is the 2nd season. We're on the 3rd episode of the 2nd season. And there was only 9 episodes.
And see, HBO, it's week to week, right? It's week to week. And that's the same thing. Like, so we watched Hijack when Idris Elba, which is on Apple TV, last year. So they just started the 2nd season, and I forgot that it's episodic, meaning that for some of us who like to binge, you can't binge it until the season is over because it's going to drop it week to week. So we watched the first episode. We watched that. The Power Force ended, which wasn't really an ending. It was a consolidation. All they did was take Power Force and take Ghost, which is the show about Tariq the son, and they're going to combine the characters into one show. It's so crazy. I know you don't watch the show, but I want you to imagine this, right? So synopsis. Tommy is having a shootout battle. Tariq hasn't been in this show at all. This is the 3rd season. I think it went through 3 seasons. And he's in Tariq the son is in New York. And at the end of his series, which ended last year, he picks up the phone call and said, yeah, we family. Anytime. So everybody for a year is like, ooh. Who was he talking to? Of course he was talking to Tommy. So then at this episode, in the final episode, he picks up the phone and says, I got to call in a favor. And he calls and said, hey, you got a couple of people ready to get their hands dirty? And he's like, bet. Now, of course, you still don't know who's on the other end of the line. And people are like, ooh, who is it? So then they're in a shootout battle. And then Tommy about to get killed. And then who shoots the 3 people about to kill Tommy? It's Tariq. And they pan over to him like it's an Avengers movie. Like,
What else are you watching?
Whatever. You're going to let me finish my story. So, of course, I'm watching the, I like my Chicago shows. I'm watching my Chicago shows. It's Wednesday, so I'll go check out some of it.
But only
I'm watching my Chicago. But and nothing else. I watched the national championship. Y'all go watch Sanford & Son. Kid, get your life. You're a clown.
Also, I'm looking forward to not being a football widow. I'm very, very, very y'all go watch Sanford & Son. Okay. I'm looking forward to not being a football widow. I cannot wait for the football season to be over. I get my husband back. Like, I actually will be able to see him. He gets in bed on time.
Well, college is over. So, yeah. NFL, the games have been pretty good. NFL and college have been pretty good.
No, they have been good. But
here's what my wife is not letting me watch too much of. The news. because it ain't real news. And every time I turn it on, she's just like, okay, that's interrupting my spurt. And I'm just like, I get it. I get it. All right, y'all. We appreciate y'all checking us out. Follow us on all the social platforms and follow the show. And I got some announcements I'm about to make here pretty soon. I'm going to be getting serious about some stuff I'm doing pretty soon. Peace and bye-bye.